Good afternoon, Speed Gaming the Duo. We welcome all of you joining us here on SG2 for more of Final Fantasy number 1. No, that's not math, it's just labels of numbers. Don't fret, Dengwu, I did not do math while live on Twitch. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty good, and you know what? I'm okay with math on Twitch. Who cares about the fans out there? But of course, I'm kidding again. Let's get some RNG. Bless RNG out there for this race, because let's hope for a good one.
We have Len the Cat versus Asher. This is a battle of 3 and 2s, so part of your destiny is in your own hands today as to where you advance for playoff situation. One of these goes to play and race, one to the last chance qualifier.
Yeah, and you know, the last chance qualifier, you have to win against all other 2 and 3s. At least if you're in the play-in race, you have a lot more spots. There's like 5 to 7 more spots. I don't know the exact numbers yet because we don't have the numbers, but there's a lot better chance in the play-in race compared to that last chance qualifier.
So in this round, we have a forced black mage. The thief is banned. That hurts a few people's strategies, but not that many. Got looks like the same party composition, bringing the rainbow mages with the fighter. That's fairly common for these flags. I'd call that the standard party for it.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that one. The only exceptions I've seen is Edge seems to like the double fighter for the protection. This one just allows you to have that early power if you get early spells, the clear spells like Fade or Nuke or, Fire 3, something like that.
The Red Mage offers a lot of diversity on the spells, so if you're a player like me who likes to drop one of these off for experience, the versatility of the Red Mage can often let you get rid of 1 or 2 other mages. Exit, Invis 2, and Harm 4 at level 1. This is a very loaded level 1.
Very loaded. Fire 3, Lit 3, early Marsh dives are very possible. You also have Exit that is learnable by the White Mage, so you can exit out. Heal 3 also. The Rainbow Mage at this point is looking really, really good.
Yeah, the only trouble is, what do you actually learn with the Red Wizard? And I'd probably take the elements and the Exit. That is a very, very cheap bottle for sale.
Yeah, a very cheap bottle for 1,000 gold. We can get that as Len the Cat goes in Temple of Fiends first. If we get a good treasure chest, he can already get one of his key items. If Gaia happens to be in Old Neprovoca or Elfland, he can turn that in instantly.
Chad asks the question, when is it the fighter's turn to go overboard? Well, it was by random chance that it didn't happen during the Swiss. It is actually separately possible to happen for the play-in. Fire 3 from the bones. They are death. Death! Death! Or we just have to reset,
Those were definitely deaths going to happen. And on top of that, Marsh Cave now becomes extremely hard because those bones show up quite often.
A veteran move by Asher, as my friend Wilfiosis would be apt to say, using the exit to get out of there safely instead of having to walk back to Garland. That is a whole bunch of money that you don't want to leave here without.
So the king gives us the musical instrument, and Sarah gives us a cool little the canoe. So the whole intercontinent is now open to our runners.
Yeah, they're also this is gonna give them plenty of money to finish off spells here at level 1. They'll be able to buy the bottle, get a good stack of tents for walking around this early overworld, and should still have very decent spell money for one of the other early towns that we run across, say an Elfland or Provoca.
If you weren't really looking, yeah, the pro rings are really cheap, so you can get really early absorbs for the casters if you'd like. On Asher's side, since we got all that money, you can buy the bottle, the silver sword pickup, really good weapon for your fighter early on, and then Len the Cat had a little terrifying battle against Garland there. Garland wasn't playing nice, but he was able to get his canoe and loot. At this point, Trenton, where are you going? We haven't seen Provoke, we haven't seen Elflin, we have Matoya's chests, we have dwarf chests on our way, we've got the whole intercontinent open with the canoe. Where are you going at this point?
The cache makes me feel a little comfortable with leaving the Toyas behind right now. On the other hand, I don't like leaving towns behind. The other thing the walk to Provoca does is lets us see what the encounter table looks like. So I like the idea of knowing what that encounter table looks like so I can adjust throughout the rest of the game. Won't argue with the plate of Matoya, but I think this might be a scenario where I skip it.
And hold the presses, we have an important announcement. Asher has picked up the Game Changer. Unfortunately, he can't use it until class promote, but this is a big pickup.
Well, it's the earlier you have an endgame sword, the more confident you're going to feel, because you want to already have something when you're in actual go mode.
And the Old City Provoca is Elflin, with life learnable by both, I believe, Red Mage and White Mage. So White Mage's usability is climbing still, where he might not be danned off right off the start.
Well, if the Red Mage can do the same thing that White Mage can, then I actually see that as diminishing the value. Right now, what I need for a really useful White Mage is Fade to be at level 4, and not Nuke. So we also know we don't need the vendor item. That might lead to a little bit of time saving by not checking all of the item shops here. But a house or two would certainly feel nice. We don't have any of those in the bank yet.
So White Magic, level 4. Fade in the
Who
one
said that?
spot. No Nuke. There is Confused Saber. Nothing overly great, but
Now I dare say the roles have reversed. It's actually the Black Mage who's diminished in value tremendously. He needs Fast or Temper to be at level no later than 5. I mean, Fast at 6 is okay, it's not great. But 7 really diminishes it in value, so we'll see how this plays out. But it looks like Asher is going to take the path south. And wolves that stone you are not going to be kind to that venture.
I mean, it is a cheap way to dan someone, or to kill them off, because then you can bring them back a lot easier than, having to life cast them.
You're absolutely correct. The flaw in that plan is the rest of your party has to survive too. Just that one minor hurdle.
That's just a small technicality. Lid 3 going to take care of these Karibes. Asher, there's really nobody ahead at this point. We're doing exploring. Asher went, he's going, was it clockwise around the continent? Len the Cat so far is going clockwise, so I guess he's a little bit behind on exploring.
Yeah, I think Asher wants to touch on these towns because there's a bunch helpful. Melman not so much, but now you're talking about if he finds Gaia, he's got the bottle turn in. If he finds Crescent Lake, you've got an item there. If he finds Provoca, you've got an item there, plus level 2 magic. I like it. It's a solid play to really emphasize the towns right now when you've got that extra value. Also, if you've got quick encounters, the Zozo Melmon can be really kind to a low-level grind.
Yeah. Cure to nothing in level 5 white magic. Black magic, is this fast? No. Alright, so that black mage, is, as you said, is slowly losing his usability here at this point.
Yeah, now, just so I'm not overstating my case, there's plenty that the Black Mage does do for you, particularly somewhere like Marsh Cave, where that extra sweeping AoE plays a huge role. But the mid-game, there's not going to be a lot of value here, and then the question is really going to be, is Fast and Temper somewhere we can use it?
So Lundacat is going to go right into Armory. It looks like he's not even going to check out Crescent at this point. He's going to go diving into the Guguro Volcano to see what is available there. I like that play. It's nice and aggressive.
Yeah, I don't mind it at all. It's a great place to go for early resources. And that's usually what we're lacking early, is resources. So there's a good chance of getting weapons, of armor. Hey, you even got a chance of finding one of the loose items that we need.
Yep, it's one of our first real diversions so far. Lundacat's going to Volcano. Asher's going to check out Elfland, maybe do the Marsh Dive. They could technically have done Ice Cave. They do have the exit spell. If they wanted to at least try it. It is kind of dangerous, but they do have Fire 3 and 2 casters.
That would be a bold play. Speaking of, well, one of the available item tabs, here in fact is Provoca. The other thing I really like for Asher is he set himself up to know if he needs an immediate Marsh Dive or not. Bracket level 2, so Fast, Temper, and Nuke are all at least level 6. That's not pretty.
Level 2 Bruise, that's pretty good for your knight if you don't find the defense sword, so that's good. Lundacat on the right finds flame armor for his fighter. It's a good start into the armory dive.
Absolutely an excellent pickup. It's good defense, plus you get the ice resistance from it. So you've got a little elemental protection. Never a bad thing. Asher's about to find out what Vicky and his pirates were hoarding, and we liberate the herb. So he's right next to Elfland Castle. That'll be an easy check.
Apparently, the Vicky the pirate took the elf prince's herb while he was sleeping, and now we're gonna give it back to him to wake him up, or however that works out.
So again, for Asher, this is moving him closer to knowing whether or not he needs Marsh Cave. If he gets the ship or floater out of this, then he doesn't need to go into Marsh for now. If he sees something like Ruby, then he knows he has to. Oxiola is something like Ruby in that it doesn't let us go anywhere.
Yeah, in this set, yeah, he's gonna have to dive. He doesn't have to dive Marsh. You can still do Ice. You can still do Volcano and hope for the loose. But at this point, you know, the Marsh is the safer option to check of sorts. And then he'll just have to go from there. Because if Marsh doesn't hold anything, he's going to be going to where Lundacat is. And Lundacat then becomes kind of in the lead at that point.
Len has had some fantastic rewards for this. This Volcano hasn't been a killer. Meanwhile, he's been rewarded with Flame Shield, White Shirt, and Mage Staff, plus Heal Helmet. He has got some phenomenal pickups on this floor. Throw in a gold bracelet for good measure, because why not? Let's really defend these mages.
Yeah, this armory is pretty well loaded, to be completely honest, and he took the most, how do we say it? The quickest route, the most, through the armory with the least amount of steps. He exits out. Now he's going to try and probably take a couple fights here, maybe then go back to a Crescent.
Yeah, he has every reason to go back to Crescent from here. Perhaps he wants to use up spell charges and get levels. There is, of course, a chance of getting the Peds here. The Sphinx seems to be a little bit low on their HP, so good fit if you're looking for levels. Asher, of course, Diving Marsh Cave. That's a solid play. It's kind of what the seed is telling you to do right now, I feel.
Since we got a little lull in the action right now, looks like Len's going to go back to Crescent. Asher had to reset out. Just kind of wanted to welcome people. Meridian BC showed himself for a little bit there. Jeffy78. Chitin showed up for a little bit. The Warmac Summoner himself. Welcome, everybody.
Always great to have some fine folks join us for a little afternoon Final Fantasy 1 Randomizer competition. Asher ran into those Fire 3 bones, and how much we run into them is really going to dictate how slow or quickly this dungeon goes. He's doing a palette swap of the fun percent flags, so it's not as easy to tell, but it's actually the darker colored skeletons there that are the normal bones. He's always seeing more of those. I don't think he'll ever run into less than 3 of them. And Len finds Melman. You're never quite prepared for finding Melman.
No, you're not. Especially if you forget to save and you run into something really nasty on those little tiles there because you expect it to be safe. Ash on the left only has to check these last 2 chests here, and the top right chest. Actually, he's got 2 more rooms after checking this incentivized before he'll exit out, if he does it.
Able to run from the pirates. He keys up the lit 3s, which is what they don't resist, so it's a good way to kill them. And now he's got more rooms to check because they handed over the Mystic Key.
That is probably the one thing he didn't want to find, because now it makes... Oh, Dragon Armor. So that's good after class promote. Your best armor for your knight.
That takes the edge off.
It does. Of course,
Sure.
The tail likes to be very... It likes to bait you into thinking you're going to get the tail, and then it just waits until the last key item for you to find. So
He did not get exit on the red mage. I'm not sure if it was class locked, but he had life to be able to restore the white mage, so that works out. Len figuring out where to go. Probably gonna follow the same path, I would think, but level 7 should be able to do this Marsh Cave a lot faster, actually. Or
yeah.
Is he bold enough to go to the Ice Cave?
Exit was in the 4th slot of White Magic, so Red Wizard.
It's actually going to be a play back to Volcano. Interesting choice. There's a lot of treasure available here. My only question about this play is what's the plan to kill Carrie?
To be completely honest, I'm not sure what his play is. You know what it is? He might be just doing a complete dive. I know it's a triple dive down, but he's banking on that loose item being the floater at this point, I think.
Let's go ahead and take a lull here to thank Speed Gaming for hosting us this afternoon. These runners putting on a good show. Braxis Muse in the background being our tracker. Thank you so much, Braxis. And thank you to each and every one of you who are joining us so far. You having a good one so far, Dingwoo?
I'm having a good time here. It's interesting because both runners are taking a whole different approach here. Asher went with the more, probably the conventional approach, is doing Marsh. Len the Cat, I have to admit, I've never really known him to be like this aggressive. I've always known him as like a consistent runner that kind of just follows really good routing decisions. And to him to do this gamble is... It's really interesting to watch him do this.
Well, That is something that will help with the whole how do we kill carry situation with the Wizard staff. Len is a machine. He has played so many Final Fantasy Randomizer games. He's right up there at the top of the list. Coral Sword now. I actually think that's inferior to the Silver. Could be wrong. I think Silver is slightly better.
And it's kind of funny as our tracker Brex's Muse had kind of pointed out, and I should have realized it myself. This is week 5. This is a very important match for a lot of people here, as was pointed out in the opener. You might see a lot more unconventional plays, a lot more daring dives as Len the Cat is doing, because they don't want to do that last game qualifier or that last chance qualifier where you have to win against everybody else.
Len was just sitting there hoping one of those level 3 elemental spells was going to turn into Ice 3. They didn't cooperate, though. Went with Ice 2 out of the Black Mage. Trying to get past these unrunnable red giants. Oh my! Oh no! Asher had the last chest checked, ran into the bones again, and Fire 3 came out and devastated his party. I don't even think he has the key now. I think he lost everything.
He was actually up in the north side of Marsh. He had already exited out and saved.
Okay,
he got lucky.
That's a lot better then.
It is, and he's got the information that at least one of the chests is an iron armor because it's linked down, and he had checked it when he was going down there, so he knows at least iron armor is in one of them. So, and he runs into more bones.
As long as he gets initiative, he'll be fine because the bones are a very low HP enemy. Harm 4, Fire 3 are going to easily kill them. I mean, 2s would easily kill them. The one bad thing about that link chest is it's in this last double room, so you don't actually get to skip a room because of knowing the linked contents.
Alright, so
okay.
Yep, Asher's gonna exit out. He's probably gonna check all these locked ones since they're free chests essentially. Probably go to Northwest Castle, hang out with the kindly old king, and of course he proves me wrong and goes to Elfland first.
Don't mind that. Restock your supplies, stay at an inn before you go get into another fight. Plus, you've got the 4 chests here at Elfland, and this is the closest time to check them. So I think it's a very solid routing decision. Len got through his first Agama, because I don't think that's the last one. Or, I could be wrong.
Well, us commentators are just here for the fans, make things interesting, try and spew as much nonsense as we can and hope that it makes sense. And then the runners are here and they just say, nah, you're wrong, commentators. This is actually what I'm going to do.
So I was wondering what Len's play to kill Carrie would be. Now I think it's obvious. As he finds the cube in the red dragon chest. That is a big move. Len did exactly what I just realized his plan was, which was to exit out after he got all the treasure. There never was a plan to kill Carrie. So the cube is gonna linger there. It's not a required... It's not an incentive location. It's a hard to get to loose item location. It could take Asher a while to get there. If we have early access to the chime, that could set Len up to get that Sky Fortress done a lot faster than Asher.
Yeah, that's definitely, he gets that. If Len gets the chime, he can go into the Sea Shrine. He gets that great experience, the great amount of density of chests, and that allows him to make plays on this. And Asher on your left is checking the locked Temple of Fiends chest since he has the key. Silver bracelet is a nice piece of gear for your casters.
It's always tough/dangerous to try and read a runner's mind, but I think Len has to be very satisfied with that entire play. That is exactly what he wanted. He got a ton of useful equipment out of Volcano, plus he got one of the loose key items that he needs to complete the game. It could not have paid off more, other than something higher quality like the Masamune.
And Asher picks up Ice Sword. That's a very good weapon in the early stages in Temple of Fiends, so at least his Red Mage and his Fighter is going to be able to attack decently well at the early stages here and save some charges if he needs it.
Yeah, that's going to be the third best weapon for a fighter. Masamune would be 1, Sun Sword 2, and then the Ice Sword. There's our other loose item, it's the Adamant. So here's an interesting question. Does finding the cube keep Len out of the Marsh Cave? I think it's going to be a big question now if that Adamant turns into the ship or floater.
We just found both loose items from both runners inside of 25 minutes. I don't think I've commentated on any matches where it's been that quick.
And for totally opposite locations, there is the early chime. So when Len gets this direction, he's going to have access to Mirage, but that's not our access out of the Inner Sea, which means Len's in exactly the right place to do that, because either ship, floater, or something that leads to them is going to have to be in this ice cave.
Yeah, Len's in a good spot. Asher just has a little bit more information, kind of moving forward of sorts, I guess. Because if I had to guess, Asher's probably going to go Volcano next. Though he might go Ice just because of the exit charge. He might go, because he does have the Zeus Gauntlet that he picked up in Dwarf Cave. And I think he had Mage Staff too.
Yeah, he picked up that Mage Staff in Volcano, which is a phenomenal early pickup with unlimited Fire 2 charges. Oh, the race Fire Off Lit 3. This is not going to be a trivial Marsh Cave.
And now all of a sudden, Ice Cave's danger level has gone up, and Asher's going to go where Len the Cat is. So, if for Asher, this is a good play. You know, he's got the exit. He's going to go there, just like Len the Cat's got exit. They're going to get their incentivized locations, exit out. Nobody's going to hang around with the Eye unless the Eye has absolutely no health, no spells.
It's fairly common to be able to get some easy levels off of the Eye, but your general concern in Ice Cave is what are you going to get when you're not fighting the Eye?
Yeah, because every time you go on that Eye tile, you're moving that encounter table one step at a time, and you can run into those Wraiths again and wipe after grinding a little bit of those levels, and then have to make the dive all over again.
Len getting some better initiative against the Undead this time. Heart 4 Fire 3 should be good to kill everything. Of course, one survived on his side, the Final Fantasy 1 special.
And Asher finds out that his Light Warriors like to sleep, caused by the mummies, so he had to reset out. Waterfall looks a little bit more dangerous now with that trap tile, because with mummies with sleep, could be dangerous.
I tell a lie, the FF1 special is you kill everything but one and then you run away.
That is the FF1 special. AoE clear spells, Bane, anything. Anything like that always manages to leave that one enemy there, so you have to cast a second time. And Asher takes the wipe from the Lit 3 Wraith, so Ice Cave is giving our runners here a rough time here.
To summarize a question from chat, yes, Ice Cave at this point has to have our progress. Most likely in the incentive chest, but in some form or fashion, we've got to get access to the rest of the world via either the ship or the airship, though they may be behind a fetch quest. Lot of undead showing up here. I talked earlier about some potential value in dropping one of the mages because of the overlapping spell. Oh my, the sorcerers with damage and poison. This is a seed that's proving me wrong. This is one where the extra spell charges have so much value.
Was that sorcerers or was that wizards? I couldn't tell because of the.
Sorcerers.
Oh, that was sorcerers. Okay, so that makes Sky on that Bridge of Destiny and the maze dangerous because they have the damage poison. They can pop up in a number of 6 of them in an encounter.
Yeah, here they are for Len. Do we see it? No, he gets away. Len also decided to pass on the Frost Dragon chest, not wanting to deal with that trap tile.
He got some. Yeah, I'd be terrified at this point. I just want to get in and out at this point, and he hasn't even reset as much as Asher has, I believe, at this point. The Frost Wolves with Dazzle. He got a max gold chest in this room, plus another one that was about 25,000. So, Len the Cat, if he gets out, is going to be rich. Be able to buy pro rings, gold bracelets. Oh, and just for good matter, Frost Wolves with Cremate, just because why not?
I was gonna say that time when Dazzle feels like a break in Ice Cave and then they fire off Cremate behind it.
Now, see, it'd been interesting here, as Showsup kind of points out, is if Asher would have gone Volcano for whatever reason and happened to do the same kind of, a gutsy dive Len the Cat does, he gets that incentive location, or that loose cube that was there. He wouldn't be checking a lot of these chests. I think he'd be in a lot more go mode here. But unfortunately now he's going to be checking a lot of these chests, and he's getting tranced and lit 3 and...
Yeah,
this could be...
I can't argue with either decision because you're looking for another loose item. I do like the decision on Len's Cat to try and attack the one wizard and make sure that he's not killing you. Or basically whatever gets you out of the fight faster is what's best. He's just dangerous enough you can't commit to the run.
Now, Len the Cat hasn't seen all the things that Asher has seen, as much as I know have. If I were him at this point, I probably would have bypassed a lot of these treasure chests, because I'm scared of what's happening. But, I think he's going to check a lot of this stuff under the assumption that ice hasn't really been that bad besides the lit 3.
Flame Sword clearly better, Excalibur clearly better. But the swords have come on this floor, and he's about to get to the eye. I don't feel like this is an ice cave where you can risk doing an eye grind of any kind, even if you want the levels. Len's seen enough, he'll probably take the exit.
I would too if I was him. I would get out ASAP. This ice cave is brutal.
And there is his floater. That's even more reason to get out of here now. Doesn't have the tail yet. Has some great stuff for class change. Just needs the tail.
And we get the original location where the floater is. Yep, as you had pointed out. So he's going to be hightailing it over there. From there, he's probably going to do a lot of exploring. He probably won't do Marsh for a little while, since none of the key locked rooms are incentivized. On your left, we get our first look at these 2 treasure chests that Len the Cat skipped. The Ice Dragon, we get a house, which is okay, but not really what we're hoping for at this point.
Yeah, so it ends up being a good decision to skip those chests, but we knew it's very unlikely anything required was going to be there at this point. Could still be something useful. It could be a ribbon or something like that.
Lem the Cat is in the air at 32 minutes and 45 seconds. He's going to check out Gaia, check out his chest, and he's going to find out it is Lefane.
Gets Lupa, but that's a pretty good, decent place for them to be in. As far as the towns we hadn't seen yet, that's the easiest to land on and go into. We know where Melmond is, so now everything left. Onrak would be the worst to find, because he doesn't have the Oxio yet.
Asher's getting wraithed over and over again on your left-hand side. Lit 3 is not being very nice to him at all. If you're a vegetarian, please look away. The Tyro is going to be eaten today.
Looks to be low on HP. It's usually a lot more durable than that. And lo and behold, it is Onrak, the worst thing you could find right now.
He does have Oxiel, though.
I think he just has the bottle. I think it's Asher who's got the Oxio. Double check myself on this.
Yes, you're right.
The Elf Prince had the Oxio, so yeah, that was Asher only. Thanks to our great tracker for keeping those good notes I was able to look at. We appreciate Brax hanging out with us today. Warp at level 7. Not very useful, actually, because by the time you have enough charges to use it, you don't really need it anymore.
So Asher's making his way. He's going to check out this Frostwolf room. There wasn't a whole lot of good stuff here, except for the gold, which is, helpful.
Yeah. The thing about the deaths you're taking in this ice cave is it's not a constant stream of death. It's basically for each of them one encounter they knew they had to avoid. Well, I guess Len did see both. But when you're only trying to dodge one, it's easier to be a lot more brave about going through a place like Ice Cave and leaving behind chests you know you don't need on a retreat. So it doesn't feel as bad as it does if you're dying to 3 or 4 different encounters and you just can't make progress.
Yeah, they're definitely not dodging one. Asher's not dodging one encounter. He's dodging 3 or 4 of them at this point, and they're all wiping him instantly.
Well, he's seen the race, and I'm not sure. Did he see the damage poison, or did Len?
I believe he's seen the damage poison. Len the Cat had a very tame experience on there. He ran into the wraiths only, as much as I know of. And he escaped all the other stuff by early run initiative. And on your right, Len the Cat is in ordeals.
Now with the fire and ice swords on Asher's side, he also picks up Excalibur. If he can get the rest of the way, he's so close to the end of this dungeon, he can feel it. He's like, just don't troll me now, game. Not right now.
Yeah, he's definitely holding his breath right now. Please no encounter, please no encounter, please no encounter, please no race at this point. Sleep mummies can be dangerous. It depends on what the cockatrices have.
I love the adapting he's done, and he's throwing out the 3 different AoEs to get those mummies dead as quickly as possible. Just no chances being taken. Let's get out of this and get out safely.
And I forgot that Ordeals has sorcerers, which Len the Cat has run into, but he has not seen the damage poison yet. They did some rub, they did some dark, really mellow spells, so I think Len the Cat once again has not seen the dangers of the sorcerers yet.
Pulling out Brack against the eye. Anything that gets it dead is a good thing.
He's tossing everything, including the kitchen sink, at the eye, trying to get out of this ice cave as fast as possible. And I don't think he could have slammed that exit button any quicker.
And The save before even taking a step. That's always important after a dungeon like that. Do not even take one step on the overworld without saving first. You don't know what's gonna come jump up and suddenly drop nuke on you.
I'd like to welcome Lyra into chat, showing off the Vorpal, which has been found, by the way.
Team Vorpal representing. This is going to be interesting on Asher's side, because almost certainly he's going to turn in the floater right now. I can't imagine any scenario in which he wouldn't. But then, does that take you away from the volcano? And what we know is the other... can't call it go mode item, but high probability of being go mode item.
Asher's kind of like me. We have always a tendency to go into Volcano, especially once the incentivized locations are done. So once he does the deals, once he does Waterfall and stuff like that, unless Waterfall is really tough, he'll do Volcano.
Just the question to me is how long does it take, because it's going to really change how you route a Sea Shrine, a Sky Castle, if you're in go mode versus looking for another loose item. Sarda hands over the crown.
Now that's interesting because Lennicat did not do the Sarda, didn't turn in or didn't talk to Sarda for that early thing, but he did do ordeals for the ship, which we don't need anymore.
Well, that's where the incentive items are not necessarily a guarantee of go mode. Because right now, the other incentive locations, you could have Tail, you could have Ribbon, you could have Ruby, and we're still looking for loose items.
Now, this is one thing that's kind of been pointed out by Al Markin and some other people. Asher has a little bit better routing. At least it's working out in his favor a bit better. He's going to Crescent, or Old Melman, which is Crescent, and Nuke is available for the Black Mage and the Red Wizard once he promotes.
Fast at level 6 is really good news as far as where it was left that it could be. It just was not looking good. Fast at 7 is really bad. Fast at 8 is near worthless. So at least we have it at a low enough level where we should have several charges for Temple of Fiends revisited.
And the Sages gave us the Rod. So Asher's got to be right there at the 12, especially after this kindly old King meeting where he gives us the Crystal.
A pretty good feeling to get the fetch quest out of the way, and then know we're just looking for items, whatever is left after this. Len's got some pirates to teach a lesson to.
Yep, and that's going to give us our herb, which leads to Oxiel for Len the Cat. And Asher is kind of in unexplored territory right now. We don't know what Matoya is going to give us. She gives us a fancy hair item to make our hair beautiful. Thank you, Matoya.
That is always an interesting feeling, because it's like, not what you wanted, but how mad can you be about finding it first?
Now, I gotta be completely honest with you. If Asher does Volcano right now, he's in go mode.
He would need the cube,
which is down in the volcano. If he checks that red dragon, he's in go mode.
Yeah, that's good. There's certainly other things he would want. The tail would be preferable, and another ribbon. Yeah, it's on the table for him. Find out what the robot has. Feeling pretty likely that's the TNT, though. Life 2 and Cure 4 at level 7.
That White Wizard's looking pretty good, but you have to get to level 20 with that White Wizard to be able to cast Life 2.
you could make the call to drop off the red mage and just level up the other two. You've got the 2 best experience dungeons sitting ahead of you. But I feel this deep into the seed, if you're still at 4 people, you're probably into that. If you were going to drop somebody, you'd do it earlier than that. That is the slab. So we've not seen the Lefane item yet, which is sitting at Gaia. We've not seen the robot item yet, which is nearby for Asher. And we know that Len still needs to get over to see Sarda. He's not done that check yet.
Yeah, I think he's making his way there finally. He's going to find out Nuke is level 6 learnable by the Black Mage. It's going to be learnable for the Red Wizard too after class promote.
This is a really bad setup for Nuke, though, because you've got to have a fast charge. Nuke's going to be unusable in Temple of Fiends. You're going to need every one of those charges for fast.
Then the cat's going to get his walking cane from the sages, which end up being a which opens up a heavy plate in the Earth Cave. So, hooray for sages! Thank you for your walking stick.
Well, we didn't need it.
Well, they were walking around. I would assume they would have needed it. Alas,
still early in the day. You don't know how his joints are later on. Afternoon rainstorm coming in.
Alas, the light warriors are bullies. We already picked on the kindly old king in the Northwest Castle and beat him up.
Len says, we need an encore of that. Let's do it. And he'll find the crystal as a result.
Leave Astos alone. He did nothing wrong.
He did plenty wrong. He's hanging out with bats.
You're right. Hurry up and rub him. Erase him from existence or zap him.
100 ways to kill Astos.
All really low percentage chances, but you know what? Worth it.
Always worth it. If it wasn't low percent, it wouldn't be as satisfying when it worked.
Len the cat. Yeah. He's picked up his cool. He's picked up his cool little hair tie.
We've not seen either runner take the airship to the Cardia Islands. There's a lot of treasure that's available without encounters usually.
Kind of surprising, as you've pointed it out. I know a lot of people like to wait until they get tail to do it all in one go. But I've also seen it in some cases where going there can earn you early masa, especially if you don't get the tail until after you've done a lot of the harder dungeons.
Opal bracelet for Asher out of the waterfall treasure chests. Pro cape as well, very good armor. And Robot did indeed have the TNT. So, trying to read what the seed is telling us, Slab's either going to have to turn into the ruby or the tail.
If I'm a runner, I'm hoping for tail, especially with getting Nuke to my Red Wizard as quickly as possible, because at least then you have, somebody being able to cast fast, somebody being able to cast Nuke for a clear spell.
There's also, excuse me a second there, that Excalibur that's waiting to be equipped.
The X Factor. Yeah, you're right.
There points out that Katana makes for good money. You're correct, but money is not in short supply this season. We've had plenty of it. It's going to cover the same ground. He's going to the water. Makes sense when it's that incentive location, but still no play on the Cardia. But is this taking Asher to the volcano?
To be honest, I think he's going to chase a lot of the fetch quests at this point. He's got the TNT turn in. He's got this to turn in to the Lefane people, which is over in Gaia. Yeah, he's going to head south.
And reading it from his perspective with the unknown, when only one more item is what it takes to get to go mode, that makes absolute sense that you would hit every incentive location first to find out if you're there or not. Chad asks, what's progression? Well, it's different for each runner because Len found the cube and Asher found the adamant. And they found those opposite each other, so it's which one gets to the other first. The adamant was the loose in Canaria locked, which Len has access to but hasn't gone to yet. And the cube was in the red D chest in the volcano. Asher's not been into the volcano yet.
So Asher's going to do two things in this. He's going to check this Titan thing. If there's nothing there in this Titan trove, he's going to reset out and go do the TNT, and then he's going to start diving dungeons, fiend dungeons, or he might do ordeals. I forgot. He hasn't done ordeals yet.
His nearest dungeon happens to be Earth Cave and does have the rod. Is that the play for him? The levels wouldn't feel great and the enemies wouldn't feel great with the counter argument. That is the tail.
The downside with tail is now it's going to take him away from Volcano, which we know has the loose cube down in the dragon chest. Len the Cat on your right makes it through the mummies with sleep and the whiz mummies that had trance, so he made it through there pretty easily. He's also going to pick up the opal bracelet there. Very good caster armor. Asher's checking chests here in Cardia Isles now since he's got the tail. He's going to do this one-stop shop. Some people call it a veteran move since he's doing all this in one instead of doing multiple dives down here in Cardia Isles.
I think trying to put up a prediction sure to go long. I think Len is going to get to go mode first, because he'll see the TNT turn into the tail, and then he knows he's just got the keylock chests to go to, versus Asher having to clear out a dungeon that he stayed pretty far away from so far. I feel like that works out to Len being in go mode first.
Yeah, because the loose item that was in the loose, adamant, which leads to Chime, is in Corneria locked. So actually, that might hurt him. Because he's going to have a lot of chests to check, but at the same time, if I were somebody like that, I would check a lot of the key-locked items first, or the key-locked rooms first, once I got the key, and then make the dives.
Oh, actually, he's got to get into Marsh for that key. But he is very nearby it. Although he's probably going to do the tail turn in first. So I might have to amend my statement. I'm not so sure, because they both have a dungeon ahead of them.
Yeah, they both have interesting decisions, because, Len the Cat's got to do Marsh, but Tail's telling him to go north to Cardia Isles to do that, and then where does he go from there once he does it?
This is just such an interesting choice on things such as this. Entire runs hang. Who makes the right choice first? Now, I think turning in the tail makes perfect sense. Get your equipment, get your spells, get all that before you do any dungeons. Backtracking to Marsh Cave wouldn't feel bad to me if it's for the sake of the tail. Vorpals everywhere in the chat. There's always more Vorpals in chat. There's always more Vorpals.
Len the Cat's going to get his expensive ruby from the Lefane people. he gets that translated slab, learns the language, and gets a ruby for his journey. He can't even sell the item. Instead, he has to let some Titan eat it. Thanks a lot, Dr. Un, for teaching us this language.
I knew it was a scam. Land is up to Cardia Isles now to get treasures and get class promotion. So no sign of the Masamune. We did find dragon armor and I think Aegis shield as well.
Yes, we did. Asher's got him equipped.
Only one ribbon though, and that was the incentive one. So there's still plenty out there. Defense or power gauntlet that we've not seen.
Asher, go back to Volcano. Go back to Volcano. Oh no, he's still... Melmon is Crescent, or Provoca.
Learning spells in the night, I think.
Oh, there must be armor over here. I'm sorry. Elflin is Provoca.
Silver bracelets. He might be going back for rings.
And he didn't... Yeah, he probably didn't take good notes.
Throw it down.
But I guess while we have a little lull in the action, my name is Dang Wu. I'm joined by Trenton GL. In the background, we got Braxis doing our tracking for everybody, for all of you out there. Just like to welcome you to Speed Gaming 2. This is the 2019 Spring Final Fantasy Tournament, Round 5. This is a 2-2 match. Loser has to go into the last chance qualifier rounds. He has to take on a bunch of other runners that are 2-3, and they have to win to move on to the play-in race, where they have a better chance of moving into the bracket play. The winner, like I said, goes into the play-in race and only has to get in the 5 to 6, top 5 or 6 to make it into bracket play. So winning here is very beneficial. Losing just makes your trip a lot harder.
Asher is going to Castle Ordeals at this point. Len continuing to explore. Dengwu, do you want to get ready to do a recap here? I mentioned for our runners, Len is looking for that adamant. He needs the Mystic Key out of Marsh Cave to get there. Asher is in need of the cube, which is hanging out by the Red Dragon in Volcano. That's what they need, but what have they found so far?
Well, so far, the shop in Conaria had a high discount on the bottle for about 1,000. That led to the slab. Once we turned it into the tiny fairy, the slab, like I had mentioned a little bit earlier with Len the cat, unfortunately, the Lefanish people gave us a ruby. The king, after killing Garland, gave us the loot, very important. Sarah gave us the canoe, which opened up the entire inner seas for us, or the inner continent, I should say. Bicky the pirate, who was right next to Elflin Castle, stole the Elf Prince's herb, put him to sleep, and we had to wake him back up. And once we did that, we got the Axial from the Elf Prince. Marsh Incentive Location had the key. Very important because the key had a loose adamant in the Corneria locked room. We found, as Trent had just pointed out, that in the loose Red Dragon chest down on Carrie's floor had the cube, which we need to get into the sky floor, or the sky castle. Sarda gave us the crown. Once we talked to the kindly king, he gave us the crystal, and the crystal led us to nice hair called the ribbon. Ordeals has the ship, which Asher is about to make his way to, so he's not going to be very happy about that find, because we don't need it at this point. The sages gave us the rod. We took their walking stick, and the robot gave us an explosives. And once we talked to Narek and turned that in, we got the tail for promotion.
So looking at the scenario for Len, he has seen the incentive items give him the tail, the ruby, and the ship. To me, that just... and the ribbon. So those 4 popping up tell me it is critical to get to that other incentive chest. He is exploring the Sea Shrine, which is a lot better for experience, and this could potentially pay off in equipment. But as soon as I see 2 of those things that are not required come from the incentive locations, I feel like I'm looking for more.
I'm not a big fan of the Sea Shrine dive, honestly, because Marsh is open still. And for his levels, for his gear and everything like that, doing the Marsh dive, and then you kind of are, especially with the airship, it's so much easier to check all those locked chests. He would be in go mode way ahead of Asher. Asher will have a higher chance of going to Volcano just because there's such a high density on the way down to Carry.
Yeah, the other thing for him is he's not going to go into Mirage. He doesn't have the cube. Earth, it's just there's a natural tendency to stay away from it. It's right in the area. Is this the move? 59 minutes. Asher's going to enter the volcano. Full clearing this will net him the cube, the last item he needs for go mode.
And he's going to at this point. Asher's too smart of a player. What it looks like he's going to do is he's going to check these left-hand side stuff, kill Carry, clear all the way down to Carry. If he doesn't find it, he'll come back in, he'll save it, come back in, check that right-hand side, and then warp out if he finds his item.
Question in chat. Do people hate the speed bump? Or glitch, I'm sorry. Of course I have it. No. It's that it's a long, sprawling dungeon that feels bad to go through, so you always prefer to either go mode it or do it at a higher level. A low-level Earth Cave is annoying at best.
So
Another good point in chat. The experience you get in Cave is actually really bad. It's much better in these other dungeons. I don't think Len saw this. Do you? Blaze from the Gargoyles? I'm sorry, the Argoyles. The red Gargoyles.
I don't think he did either, because I don't remember saying, "Oh boy, this is going to be tough," kind of a thing. Because Len the Cat went in at a much lower level and didn't have the ribbon either, so...
Yeah, it didn't seem like a hard dungeon to get. The Flame Armor is not going to have any value for Asher. A ninja or a second knight, and that'd be a different story, but for this party, it's just not.
So, Trent, I think it's only fitting that we should kind of promote your match later tonight. You have a match at 6:30 tonight against Tyrannex on the main Speed Gaming channel. How you feeling about that tonight?
Well, the goal for me in each round of the Swiss is finish the match. Because if I can finish and my opponent doesn't, then I win.
I like the reasoning behind it. I like it.
That is my strategy, is just be able to finish the seed. But Tyrannex is a great guy. If I lose to him, no regrets there. I'll just go in to give him a match.
Well, I'd just like to say good luck to you. Hopefully some of our fans out there will come by and root you on for it. We also have another match at 10 o'clock tonight. Sorry, I'm bringing it up. It is Wout vs. Eliger Brap at 10 o'clock tonight. That's going to be over on Randomania. I don't have a channel for that yet, but that's another spring tournament matchup. So definitely check that one out also. But the Tyrannex vs. Trenton one is at 6:30.
Yep, that's the plan.
And
there's a lot of head and for all things related to the randomizer, your best starting point is to go to FinalFantasyRandomizer.com and see the actual randomizer for yourself. You've got links to everything, including the Discord. If you're in the chat at Speed Gaming and do !FFR, you can get links to the Discord and tournament website. Oh yeah, and the polls. I always forget the polls.
Can't forget about the polls. Those are very important things that we kind of look at and say, nah, we're not doing that anyways. I'm just kidding. We do those.
Yeah, the polls include what the party composition will be for the bonus stream after the tournament. Your voice matters. Or at least your vote does. You don't have to actually speak. I don't mean to discriminate. How is the race shaping up so far? Chat would like to know, I think, joining us. It's shaping up well for Asher because the next floor for him has the red dragon chest. Once he gets that, it's go mode. Len takes a wipe to the ghosts in Sea Shrine, very unfortunate, but for him the path to go mode requires going to Marsh Cave, and he's currently staying away.
I didn't even see. Was those ghosts just attacking and just wiped his party? Or did they cast something?
I didn't see how they did it, but I would fully believe it was just the punching from them. It's one of the hardest hitting enemies, especially if they roll up to multiple hits. Yeah, 80s and 60s damage, that's against the Armored Knight. If you're failing to run... Oh, they have Death Touch. They have Death Touch.
Well then, that makes things interesting. Asher is about to go into go mode. He just has to get to this chest here on your left-hand side. Len the Cat, unfortunately, is running into ghosts with the ever-scary Death Touch. The advantage is the ghost only rolled one hit, so it's not nearly as bad, but at these low levels, Death Touch is very, very scary.
We have go mode for Asher. 1 minute, 1 hour, 4 minutes in. The other big thing I think this does for Asher is it seems like for a lot of people there's a tendency when choices are equal to go to Sky Castle first. So if he does that, he skips the Death Touch ghosts until a higher level, and he should have an easier time clearing it out. No sign of that Masamune. So it looks like that has to be somewhere in the depths of Mirage Sky Castle.
So we kind of gave the advantage to Len the Cat when he dove all the way down to the red dragon chest, got the cube. We said, you know what, he might have the advantage here. Unfortunately, he made a routing decision, went down to Sea Shrine, which is understandable. Very good experience in this location. Carry on the left has been pulled. Ice 3 goes out. Paralyzing touch from Carry is going to be problematic if it lands on the Knight.
Did have a question in chat. Did Asher skip the red dragon chest? He did not. He got his cube. He is in go mode.
There's the paralyzing touch. Lands on the Knight. Confused misses. We're going to have to rely upon Fade and the Quad X. The Fade goes out first. 212. Quad X might hit here. Ineffective. Carry has more than 300 HP.
More than 300 remaining before it would work. The other thing you can do is Cure 4 will fix stun if you have it. But it was level 7, so even if Asher had learned that, I don't think he'd have charges yet.
Excalibur swing, 3 hits, 145. We might be in Quad X range, but he's out of Quad X. Another swing, 3 hits, 273. And our first orb is lit at 1 hour, 6 minutes, almost 1 hour, 7 minutes.
Yeah, so Carry was in Quad X mode. I liked the play to cast it when he did. Based on Carry's base HP, it was a very solid play to cast it then. It just didn't work out.
Oh yeah, I completely agreed with the way he did. I mean, he kind of had to at that point. His Knight is, on one knee. It's stunned. You don't want to risk the paralyzing lasting for many turns, because that's when you can lose, especially when you don't have very many spells left to cast.
So, trying to shift perspective here from what we know to what Len knows. Len knows that he needs the key, and hopefully remembers that he still has Incentive Marsh. But he's also thinking that I've seen 4 non-required items turn up from the incentive locations, and that suggests there's 1 or 2 loose items remaining. And we know where that one loose item is, and that it's blocked by the key. But these checking for these treasures makes sense in light of the fact that he knows there has to be at least 1, if not 2 more loose items.
He's definitely in a precarious spot. Unfortunately, it might have been just the way he routed everything. He's got, I would assume after doing the Sea Shrine, he's going to go to Marsh. Because a lot of people don't like to go full clear Earth Cave. And there's our Masa pickup. It is on the way to Kraken. I believe that is the Sharknado floor. Yep. And it's in that upper left, which a lot of people kind of miss in some cases because it's kind of out of the way.
Yeah, it's as good as he's going to find for not being his progression. And it's one of the things he could find that could actually make a difference for him versus what Asher's going to find. Asher's going to have to do this on a lesser sword. The ribbon is a great additional thing to find. 2 ribbons are much better than 1. But I think Asher will still get that. That's become very meta these days, is go into Sharknado and get 3 treasure chests.
Alright, and Asher has now walked into the Sea Shrine on your left, and yeah, you're absolutely right, it is. So Asher's probably going to do a lot of go moding here, maybe a couple greed chests. I highly doubt he's going to check that Masa chest that we just seen, because, well, he's in go mode. He does have the Vorpal, he does have Excalibur.
Yeah, Asher has no reason to go that far out of the way to look for anything, but that Sharknado it's the one that the ribbon is in literally does not cost you an encounter, even a single step towards an encounter. It is completely free to check that one, and then the additional meta has become to check those 2 up in the top left of the room, because it's only costing you 1 step, or 2 steps, to go check them. So 2 steps is probably not costing you a fight by the end of the dungeon.
Yeah, I think it's definitely become a meta of sorts for when you're looking for that random power bonk or a Masa in that kind of situation. But if you're in full blown go mode where you have the Masa, you have the power bonk, you have most ribbons, you might check that one just because of that, one loose ribbon that you need or something like that. But yeah, I would definitely check those 2 on top of that free chest.
Goes for Asher. He's not seen the Death Touch yet, I don't think. Len has been able to avoid them, so looks like the good news for our runners is that they're a lesser encounter. Not rare, but not common.
Yeah, we haven't really seen a lot on Len after the 2 wipes that he took from them. The ghosts in Sea Shrine have the Death Touch for the ones that joined. I see Spellzap has joined in chat. Falconic has joined up. I'm surprised I have not seen the Vorpal being spammed when he joined. He's kind of slacking lately, I tell you. No Vorpal spamming.
Asher quickly discovers that ribbon. He could also really use some pro rings, but those are purchasable, so. Not really important to hunt them down.
Len the Cat's going to take on Kraken. Can be a very big pain, but he's going to cast White Shirt, Brack. He's going to hope to break Kraken into pieces.
Having 2 casters of Brack is a great place to be, 8 charges, he has a very, very high chance of killing Kraken. A Kraken who lives through, well, it looks like it would only be 6 charges of Brack. That would be horrible RNG. Third try was the charm.
And at 1 hour and 12 minutes, Lemon Cat lights his first orb. And Asher is right behind him, making his way for his second orb, going through Kraken's floor. He just needs to make his way. He also had to wave goodbye to Masa. He didn't know Masa was there, so he kind of waved goodbye as he went past it.
The other thing, Ash, that would have been really good for Len is if he had found Power Gauntlet in there. But that's pretty unlikely. Now, he's really got 2 choices. On one hand, you could go to the first 2 floors of Mirage, say that's the closest, that's the easiest. But you've got the Rod, so you can do a full clear of Earth. And if you're behind, that's about the only way it's going to pay off. The other option is to go back to that incentive marsh and just see what happens.
Brack flies out for Asher. Misses. Excalibur swing. Missed. Oh my. Brack again. Broken into pieces. That's our second orb for Asher. Len the Cat's going to be racing against Carrie here. To answer the question, there is one loose that is on the table. It is on Len's side only. He has to do Marsh Incentive, which has the key. And in Corneria Locked is where the adamant is, and that leads to the chime.
Len is back into the volcano to deal with this carry. He was here before, full cleared for treasure, and then exited out after finding the cube. He had that cube much before Asher did, but did not follow Asher back into the marsh cave to counterbalance the play. This is interesting. Asher checking first floor.
I think he's not very confident with only having 2 ribbons. And then on top of that, not having Power Bonk, with Temper being level 7. I think he's just hoping for that Power Bonk.
He doesn't have Defense Sword, Power Gauntlet, Masamune. 3rd ribbon would be very reasonable, but 2 ribbons is pretty good. One of the things the randomizer is going to teach you to do is learn the difference between luxury and necessity. And you learn even 2 ribbons is a luxury. But 1 is pretty much a necessity.
Right? Len the Cat went full out offense against Carrie, which we learned has paralyzing touch. Manages to last the first round against Nuke, Fades, and an Excalibur, Masa. No, it had Excalibur wielding Knight. So Carrie had some health on him.
Yeah, he moved that Masamune, I believe, to the Red Mage so that he'd have 2 sword wielders for the dungeons. The downside to that strat is you forget to move it to bosses. I've done that plenty of times myself. Kinda led me to the place where I just keep Masa on the Knight so that I don't forget.
You could also be like me and swap the item over to your Knight, then forget to totally equip it on it, and then try and take on Carrie too.
Well, that would just be the worst of all worlds.
And then your turn 1 ends up being fast, temper, and your Knight swings with his fists for a whopping, 10 damage.
Commented in chat that if I need experience more than chests, I like Sky 2. I don't disagree, the experience is great on Sky 2, even Sky 1. Sky 1, you've got a bunch of chests that if you just walk to one side are really easy to get.
So kind of what's going on here, we got Asher being greedy. He's checking the greater than less than room. Must not be comfortable at all with his spells. with Temper being level 7. Len the Cat's checking the north side of Marsh on your right-hand side screen. Interesting. I know that he's got the incentivized location that's still available, and he has a loose item. It's kind of interesting, though, that he's going to choose to go north first in this situation.
Question in chat: did going Marsh work best for Asher or Volcano best for Land? Well, it kind of depends on how you define that. Finding the loose cube, I think that was the harder find. So on that score, I would say that was better for Len. The question is what you did after it. I don't like going to Marsh, and I understand not liking going to Marsh, but the reluctance to go to Marsh after finding the cube has caused him to check a lot of stuff he didn't need to. He did get the Masamune as a result, and with limited fasts and tempers, that is a potential difference maker, so let's not undersell that value.
It's interesting. For the routing decision-wise, the finding of the key, I think, was big for Asher, just because of the way he didn't have the floater, and because he had all those chests to check at that point, it ended up helping him out just a little bit more.
And that is a really good point, because Len went and found the floater next. He went off to explore the world, whereas Asher, still looking for the floater, went to check the key locations by foot, since that could easily be the answer, and it paid off for him.
Get our first look at the Blue Dragon. Good source of experience. Asher didn't take the fight, kind of surprising. He's at level 19. He's got this location and Earth. Earth isn't very full of experience-rich encounters. You want to be 24. Oh, he doesn't have Masa, so level 24 is not as important.
Yeah, I think it's something like 29 for Excalibur, so that's pretty far off for him at this point.
So if he's going to swing the Vorpal, he wants 22 for the 4th hit, but for now, Excalibur, yeah, is his best option.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably keep Excalibur on all the way to Chaos. But this is where it gets tough to not have that Masa big hit damage if you don't have Power Gauntlet and you don't have the support spells. Not really finding the Ion Caps here, which is what you're kind of hoping for when you're in Sky Castle. 2 floors where you can find them as random encounters.
Those and the Manticores.
Yeah. Rock Owls not so much, but sometimes they're pretty easy.
Rockall's great experience. You need to cast, though. They do have Nuke and Fade. I'm surprised Asher didn't just Nuke and Fade them. Be able to one-round them, generally, is a very good... There we go. Rockwell's with 4 of them, he'll probably get about 4,000 experience. Len the Cat finds the key. Now, it's going to be interesting where he goes after this. If he checks Corneria locked, he's going to be in go mode because the adamant leads to the key. He'll be able to play catch-up.
Now, another big thing, we hadn't talked about this in a while, but the Dragon Armor was here. If Len skips the key locked, he'll miss out on the Dragon Armor. If he full clears this, he'll get that. And that extra defense.
Len unfortunately does have that one loose item that we kind of talked about, so he has to kind of search Marsh since he's here just to make sure that the loose item isn't there. We know it's not there. He does not. So Asher's about to hit the maze floor. Now this is going to be deadly for this next 2 floors. We have sorcerers here that have damage poison. He can run into 6 of them and damage poison does a lot of damage. And even with ribbons, he could be wiped out if they get an ambush or a bad turn order.
Len now finds the dragon armor, which is a definite upgrade over the flame armor. Getting all the encounters on the wrong floor. Not a lot of good experience on this. This is probably about the worst Sky Castle has to offer.
I have to admit, Asher probably got some of the worst encounters experience-wise, except for the rock goals. We'll see if he gets some red hydrants or the ever-elusive... Okay, well, there's your red hydras. Will he get the robot chicken Warmech himself? Let's get some bless RNGs out in chat for him, because I want to see him.
The red hydras are a great source of experience with 4 of them, and they're usually really easy. And Ice 3 gets you 1,800 a person. That is fantastic. The slimes, not bad in their own right. No fast or nuke charges remaining for Asher. With no fasts, I don't think he can fight Warmech.
He would definitely be...
Presuming that he's runnable.
Yeah, that is one thing. Warmech can be unrunnable. He can get that, and then Asher will have to fight him or take the reset.
Len is checking these key-locked chests. It makes sense you can do them without encounters, and this should get him to his missing adamant.
Yeah, I think this is a good thing for Len the Cat. He is checking the key lock to this point. Once he gets to Corneria, he's going to be very happy, and then he's going to try and play catch-up. I haven't seen where Asher's Brack levels are at, but he can Brack. Yep, he's going to try and Brack Tiamat here. This is his 3rd orb. X-Cal swing. 4 hits, 35. High absorb Tiamat.
Well, that's the great thing about Brack. We don't really care how much absorb or HP that the Fiend has.
2 casts of Brack, 2 whiff so far. Another white shirt cast. Let's get our defenses up. Another Brack cast. Ineffective. We missed the giant target that is Tiamat. Ooh, Tiamat swings for 233.
Then the white shirts to keep raising the evasion. It's a smart play. It's a backup plan to Brack not working.
Brack cast ineffective. At this point, Brack has not been very efficient. Oof. Not playing nice right now.
Some absolutely terrible RNG on the Bracks.
He might have to chip him death. Ooh, Fade rolls for 300 damage. Brack misses again. Last Brack cast. Ineffective. Thunder comes out from Tiamat. Okay, this is going to make it interesting, but last turn heal from the Knight. Big. Len the Cat on your right is going to get his Adamant, which allows him to go into go mode once he turns that in.
Big for Len. And I can't imagine he doesn't make that play right away.
Does anybody have the lamp spell? Oh, never mind. The Fade cast from the Red Wizard will give Asher his 3rd orb.
21's a pretty decent level for his situation. It's kind of the low end that people have been doing Templates Revisit with these flags, but it's been completed many a times at those levels.
Len the Cat about to find his Adamant. There we go. He's going to be excited.
Not sure what Asher is going for here. I assume it's a spell or possibly Pro Rings.
Oh, Life 2.
Cure 4 Life 2 makes sense. You'd be able to learn one of those with the Red Mage. 2. I don't remember which one, but I remember you learned one of them. Actually, that might be the Onrak spell.
Yeah, I think that's Onrak spells. Red Wizard learns the level 7 first slot in Onrak.
Right. Len's the first to Earth Cave in Go mode, but he still also has Mirage and Sky to clear.
Asher's getting his camping equipment. Did Len the Cat already go into Earth? Yeah, okay. He's gone into Earth. He's in Go mode. He's going to try and speed through this as fast as possible. And as you had just pointed out, he's got to go through Sky and... what, Sky?
Yeah. Earth
Sky
and Sky for him. Asher has restored all the orbs. He's going into Temple of Fiends Revisited, and he's using up the houses to line up his heal potions.
I think he forgot he still has to do the Earth.
Oh, you are right.
It's a bold move by Asher. He tried to bypass the orb, the dark black orb, but the black orb says, you gotta kill Lich first, even if he is an easy fiend to kill.
This is a bold strategy, Cotton.
Let's see how it pays off, and he got denied. So he's got a bit of a walking to do now, too. Gives Len at least a 20-second catch-up grace period there.
Yeah, the biggest thing, though, for Len is he's got to hold another dungeon. Asher just has to go mode Earth Cave, and it's usually around 5 minutes to do, so we should see him into Temple of Fiends before long.
Len the Cat ran into Spectres. They have Trance. Len the Cat's got to hope that they just Trance party all over Asher and slow him up as much as possible. Get as many encounters against Asher for this to slow him up.
Ready to say hi to the vampire and bye to the vampire. It's not a big window to do that.
The only advantage for Len is go moding Sky, Mirage in the Sky doesn't take very long compared to most others, unless you run into a lot of things on like the Bridge of Destiny, because it seems to have a higher encounter rate.
Yeah, he'll be able to go through it pretty quickly, but it's a pretty significant advantage for Asher to get into Temple of Fiends first.
Yeah, Asher's definitely maybe, 5 minutes ahead? Because I'd say about 5-6 minutes to get through the Sky and to kill Tiamat, depending on if Brack works instantly or not.
Yeah, I would probably figure that closer to 8 minutes for Sky.
Okay, so that's about one real deep dive into Temple of Fiends for Asher that he's ahead of right now. There's our
Go ahead.
I was going to say, this is our first look at Lich, our Earth Fiend here. Generally a speed bump, but he seems to be taking the licks from Len the Cat.
Len has had a couple things give him back some time, but one of the big ones is Masamune is going to make a lot shorter work of Tiamat if you don't have Brack be successful. So he should be able to clear a lot of these random encounters faster than Asher, and we won't see a big chunk of time made up, but Len is going to constantly be making up 5 seconds here, 20 seconds there, and it adds up over the course of a run. The better weapon can do a lot for you.
It sure can, especially with any decently absorbed. Excalibur doesn't work very well against higher absorbed characters, and if he leaves that Excalibur on there, he could be caught on a boss fiend fight in Temple of Fiends to slow him up a little bit, because the Excalibur just can't punch through it as well. The Moss at least has a decently high a crit chance, where it can crit its way through. Excalibur, on the other hand, is basically more of a base damage weapon.
That is a veteran move from Asher. He had used up all of his save items when he had come to Temple of Fiends the first time, and he stopped off to buy one cabin so that he could save right outside the temple. He also went to an inn, restored his magic points to full, so he's coming in here at full power, and he's got the save outside, and he's got his heal potions in the first column.
Yeah, Asher's in at about 1:32, 1 hour and 32 minutes. Len the Cat just needs to get through the sky floor. He's about 4, 5, 6 minutes behind. Kind of depends on how well his encounters go. Asher's going to check the validation chest here. We call them validations because sometimes they hold something useful. No power bonk for Asher, though, so he's going to have to rely upon easier fiends.
Yeah, if this is not a hard Temple of Fiends, then this is all the advantage to Asher for being able to get in here first. Status poison comes out from the zombie dragon. It's not as scary at these levels. Even for characters without the ribbon, your magic defense is just so much higher. Len might also end up with a couple extra levels over Asher, even though he's not going to check the chests around here. Probably pretty close, but he might net 1 or 2 more depending on how these encounters go.
It's a good point, but actually Asher is ahead of level somehow. He's about 1 or 2 levels. He has, I believe, level 22 on his knight at this point. I think Len the Cat's been running a little bit more compared to Asher.
Len's at 21 now, so yes, Asher is higher at this moment, but I'm saying when Len finishes Sky, I think he will enter Temple of Fiends at a higher level.
Ah, it's a good
Just
point.
to be clear on that.
Never know, he might get the Warmech. Our Lord and Savior Warmech.
Masa, he might be a little more willing to fight Warmech. You might also, on the other hand, look over and see, well, for as much as went wrong with me, my opponent is not done, so maybe I should just rush to Temple of Fiends and take my chances. If he's on the same encounter cycle as Asher, then he's not going to see Warmech, but he won't be inherently, because even if he started from a hard reset in both cases, Len's going to take less steps, so he will be in a different spot on this bridge than Asher was. Some angry Medusas. I think we've learned to give them a little bit more respect after that Wilcliosis Tristal race, where they came out firing 12 hits of Death Touch and Blaze.
Yeah, they definitely came to play. They brought the Death Touch and the Blaze with a high ambush chance. In some cases, our guys weren't even able to go into the menuing because their party was wiped instantly.
These nachos are slowing Len down. They're a very experience-rich encounter. Now Masa should be able to finish off the last one. There we go. And Asher is up to the speed bump. That is a very interesting palette swap for Lich. This is a fun percent flag. Asher's been showing those off. First turn nuke from Lich. The speed bump fights back today.
The speed bump just went nuclear on Asher, and 2 of them down. Okay, we do have life spells, though, so he can regroup. That's good. It rolled low on his red wizard. He was able to survive, so we can move on from here, but that is rough. So 1 nuke is down.
For these bosses, there are 3 nukes in the mix. We've seen 1 of them, so they're still out there. There's also 4 nuclears out there. It's for a fiend that's going to fire it off first turn. That's the best case scenario, because it's not one that's going to live long enough to cast a second time.
Len the Cat on your right has lit his 4th orb. He is good to go now. He's going to be entering Temple of Fiends about 5-6 minutes behind Asher.
Asher entered at 132. Don't know how much setup Len needs to do before going in. Asher took some time to like go around and learn spells. I don't know if Len did all of them. But he's going to be going in here, looks like 5.5 minutes later.
Carrie's been swinging not very much. The Knight on Asher's side did about 300 damage there. Vorpal hit, 3 hits, 45. Not going to do a whole lot. Excalibur, 159. That's a poison touch carry. Kind of dangerous, kind of not really. Poison. I would rather have poison touch over a stun touch or, a death touch. Lemcat left Temple of Fiends Revisited as Carry 2 goes down on Asher's side. 2 more Fiends to go before his final battle against Chaos.
Len is stopping to do some setup work, get spells. Life on the Knight is really hard to pass up if you have the ability to learn it, because he's a lot more likely to live through a nuke than anybody else is. If nothing else, getting that spell just makes a lot of sense. That can save a 10-minute run through Temple of Fiends through just having life 1.
Yeah.
And it enters 138, so it ends up being closer to 6.5 minutes behind Asher. He's up to the water floor now.
Yeah, he's about 3/4 of the way. He's about to take on Kraken 2. Basically, the real challenge of the first real challenge can be the Gatekeeper. If she rolls 12 hits with some damage modifiers there, she can do a lot of damage. One hit your Knight. That's the reason why the Knight is moved to the back row. Got a white shirt, fast, and temper casts. He's not going to waste a whole lot of time. It looks like he's already starting to swing. Fade for 83. Vorpal swing, 6 hits, 173. 7 hits off of Kraken 2. Kills the poor Black Mage. Never had a chance.
Yeah, I like the way he's doing this. That's 2 casts of Ruse, basically with the Invis 2 from the shirt, so you got 2 of those plus 2 from the Ruse. That's going to put his Knight at max evade right there.
Yeah, I think he's playing safe right now. He's playing that life, or the life spell on the Knight. Vorpal 173. He's going to be basically tickling Kraken here at this point to try and kill him. That was 2 crits for only 173 again.
This is a great fight for Vorpal in that this is a low evade, high absorb Fiend. That's exactly where Vorpal shines. He kept getting crit damage, and that was getting him up into the hundreds instead of just doing single-digit damage. Using the heal 3, so he doesn't have to use as many heal potions. I love it. Another veteran move out of Asher.
Yep, he's about 50 potions left. He knows if he has to do another Ruse strat against Tiamat 2, he's going to have to use those heal potions to gain people's health back. He does have some Life 2 cast on his White Wizard, though.
Some vampires in the way. He did get level 22 for the extra Vorpal swing.
Yeah, and the Wiz Vamps, just for the heck of it, were unrunnable. Make him have to heal up again before the Tiamat 2 fight. Len the Cat is in Temple of Fiends, as we've mentioned earlier. He should be making his way to the Earth floor very shortly.
It's actually a case where it might have been a relief that encounter is unrunnable, because it feels real bad to fail runs against that party.
Yes, it
take
does.
Your HP in a hurry.
Free turn essentially from Tiamat 2, fire 3 cast. That's a pretty high absorb Tiamat again. 4 hits, looks like 1 or 2 crits for 163. So if Vorpal's going to be a big player here.
That could be interesting if we are actually seeing the Fiends where Vorpal pays its dividends over Masa. Masa is never to be taken lightly. Its crit rate is not shabby at all, but Vorpal's is better.
Alright. Tiamat 2 swings, hits that Knight. He is now in nuke range. If Tiamat 2 has nuke, he could be in trouble, but Fire 3 comes out again. We got to get that Knight's health up above 400 to make sure a max roll nuke does not kill our knight. White shirt, we're trying to keep our evasion high. Vorpal swing, 6 hits, 105. The absorb on Tiamat is ridiculous right now.
Yeah, this is... play mono Hispana. Instead of doing the insta-death spells there, to have that Black Mage drink a heal potion to the knight, get that extra HP. I was about to say I would have liked to see that there, and then Nuclear comes out. So, yeah. I even more would have liked to have seen that there.
What's he gonna do? He swings. Okay, the Red Wizard's down. Tiamat's taken out 2 of the Light Warriors right now. The Knight is out of nuke range now. If Tiamat 2 does have nuke, he is safe for now. Swing from the Vorp.
I'd have that White Mage drink heal potions on. Just get him up towards max as best as we can. Know I'm gonna lose the White Mage anyways. Got through it.
Vorpal swing 105 kills Tiamat 2 finally. There was a nuclear in there. There was a tornado in there. That was some dangerous stuff. We got lucky there was no nuke cast or another nuclear. So Asher moves on. He has to get to the chaos floor first. He isn't safe yet, technically.
Question, chat. Chaos could still have nuke, right? He could actually still have double nuke. Your biggest concern in one of these speeds is actually that they're going to roll what I call Nuke Plus, which is they have Nuke and possibly Nuclear, and then something that fires off right behind it, a lot of devastation. That was close to that for that Tiamat. If the Tornado had been right behind the Nuclear, the Mages would have been gone.
Len is slowly catching up against Carry 2 here. Carry 2 didn't really have anything dangerous that we've seen from Asher's run, but Asher also killed Carry pretty fast. So we'll have to see how Len does once he gets to Kraken 2. Asher is going to change up on your left here. Put the Knight in the back. He's going to try and protect his Temper Caster. That Black Wizard is kind of crucial here.
Yeah, getting as many buffs as possible onto that Knight is very crucial this run.
And you can see it there. He's going to wall the Black Mage, trying to keep him alive to start. The fast goes off. That's important. Chaos swings 171. That's actually good news. He's not going to have to go very defensive against his attacks at this point.
Is setting up well all the way across. I love still using the white shirt to get you out of even chip damage range. Good hit against that Chaos, who fires off nuke.
That's 1 nuke down. Is he going to heal? Yeah, he's got to heal at this point. So he's going to heal up, trying to keep lit 3.
300.
That's a free turn with another Temper. He's got to start attacking here at this point. His heal 3s are not going to be able to keep up with the damage, and he's racing against a nuke. We haven't seen Cure 4 yet from Chaos, or a slow 2. Fire 2, Vorpal swing, 3 hits, 436. Okay.
Great damage. Another 300, it'll get there.
3 hits,
Keep hitting
536
doesn't even
crit.
need to. Asher is our winner with a time of 146.15. Let's see some well-earned GGs, chat.
And that was a decently evasive Chaos. He was only hitting 2 or 3 times, but he was still hitting hard, even with the fast. And Len the Cat on the right was making progress. He's on Kraken 2. We knew Kraken 2 was kind of dangerous here. Hit hard.
Yeah, only 40 damage on that round of swinging from the Masamune. Not great.
Yep, he's going to find out that Kraken 2 had some absorb. Kraken 2 and Tiamat 2 had really good absorb.
There's Asher joining us. GG.
Thank you. You can hear me okay, right?
Yes, we can.
I still got to catch my breath.
I don't doubt it. So, fun fact, I have to tell you this from a fan perspective. You went to Marsh Cave, found the key, and the loose adamant as a result. Len went a different direction. He went to Volcano, and he had the cube. So we saw both loose items that fast indeed.
We just had to zigzag back towards each other, I guess.
Yep.
I just when I found that cube, I thought, is this even incentivized?
It was not.
Nope.
So, Team Vorpal had to be very happy with this Temple of Fiends, and you had to be happy with the work it did for you.
Oh, absolutely. With Temper being so late, and really I had to save it all for Chaos, I was just very glad that the Fiends were cooperative enough. So yeah, the Vorpal, with just a little bit of Temper, was just enough.
By the way, Len has decided to withdraw from this one after that Kraken got the better of him.
Yeah, Kraken 2 definitely came to play. The Vorpal was the correct weapon in that case, and unfortunately for Len the Cat, didn't cast any ruse on his knight. The knight almost got one shot off of Kraken 2, then decided to break in half his red wizard, and finished off poor Len the Cat's last night after that, so...
Yeah, I think the nightmare scenario for almost anyone is a melee-only Kraken 2. You almost would rather see nukes or nuclears, because that means you might get some other free turns.
And unfortunately for you, you saw both.
Well,
Didn't
yeah, I mean, there's a variety, is the spice of life, I guess. It was not an easy Temple of Fiends, it was not an easy Ice Cave, it was not an easy Seed.
There were certainly a lot of challenges, and we might have Len joining us now.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, there we go. Sometimes
GG,
there's always
Len.
that challenge of the mic.
Oh man, what a race!
Well, I just mentioned it to Asher that you all gave us quite the show from the start with the divergence in routing, because he went to Marsh Cave, got the key, got the adamant, and you found the cube.
Yeah, I didn't find the key until like an hour 20 in.
Well, that marsh was certainly special, because I was just like, well, it's either I go here or I dig ice, or I dig for volcano where maybe there's not a loose item. And when I found the key in marsh, I was like, oh crap, I have to check the rest of these chests now.
Yeah, well,
It did pay off
Ice
with the
Cave
dragon
was
armor
not
at
fun
least.
either.
Oh no, it was not. I don't even know how many wipes I had in there. It might have been 8.
In Ice Cave or in Marsh Cave?
Oh, and ice. And marsh cave, I think I had like 4 or 5.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think only wiped once in ice, and I went in there, I think level 8 or level 7.
Yeah, I have to remember the tally. There was lit 3, damage poison from the sorcerers, and death glare from somebody. It was a
Now,
good combo.
how many times did you wipe in C to the Death Touch ghosts?
Oh, I saw one ghost pair and I ran from it, so
I think I wiped 3 times to that group,
Goodness.
where they just went death touch, death touch, death touch, and just boom, all my guys are dead.
Well, they are ghost. I guess it's appropriate. Painful, but appropriate.
Let's talk a little bit about what's ahead. Asher, for you, with the 3 wins, you go to the play-in race. What kind of prep work do you do for that?
Well, I mean, if I really kind of stand behind my play. I kind of had to get my groove back after the week of thief runs where I didn't really feel good. That was the one race out of the 4 or out of the 5 that I've run now that I just didn't feel that great about. So I had some good practices here. I think it's just keep getting quality practices, keep bouncing ideas off of other players, hope that Tristal doesn't have any sort of wacky flag changes that really throw a wrench into everything, as he probably hinted at in the last reveal stream. But I think the number one prep is just to believe in my play, because technically I'm 3 and 256 from possibly being 4 and 1, so I'm not doing bad.
Just for clarity, the play-in race is going to have the same flags as the Swiss, but it'll roll party independently.
So good. Okay, so that's one less thing to worry about.
Force me, yeah. Len, it's the last chance qualifier race. It's not going to be an easy field to get through.
I just gotta hope for a horrible seed. I love horrible seeds. That's what I excel in. So I'm just hoping for just the worst. I got to get a SAR in there or somebody to roll it, because I need something horrible to win that one.
Well, I'll tell you, Dengwu does pretty good making some terrible seeds too, so maybe one day.
I did roll this one, so I apologize for the death touches.
What I'm angriest about in this seed is I found the floater and I thought, oh boy, there's no way my opponent went to ice, you know. And then one of the first things I did after I got the floater is I went to Ordeals and then found the ship in Ordeals. When I found the ship in Ordeals, I knew that whatever lead I got from getting the floater early was going to be really short-lived.
Yeah, I went to Ordeals late. It was actually the last place I went to. Once again, because I saw the toxic or damage poison sorcerers, and that didn't feel good to see the ship when I could have just been checking for loose stuff elsewhere.
And you what? You needed the cube as your last item?
Yeah, because I did everything before Volcano.
I went Volcano first, so I got kind of lucky there. Because I had that exit, I didn't try to kill Carrie. I just went to the bottom and got all the stuff.
That's a good play. That's a good play there.
Well, it was interesting, now that we're talking about that, is we were wondering, because you guys found the 2 loose items in such unique spots. We're like, who has the advantage in this case? And I kind of looked at it and I went, well, unless Len remembers that he's got to go down into Marsh Cave, I mean, he's still got a lot of other checks to do. Does he do the locked chests after doing Marsh Cave? And he waited so long to do it. Meanwhile, Asher, you had done the Marsh dive, and at that point, unless you're going to do Ice or Volcano, you're going to check those locked chests. So it's kind of more of a easier routing for you to get to that loose item compared to Len at that point.
I was lucky.
Yeah, I think that's just... Yeah, we were both lucky on our own way. It's one of those, you win the scavenger hunt, you lose the scavenger hunt. Sounds like a bit of a wash, even if my routing ended up being a little more straightforward.
Let's go ahead and get any final thoughts you have. Lynn, anything you want to share?
Well, GG, thanks for everybody for doing the restream, and I hope we put on a good show.
Certainly did. Asher?
Oh, just want to say thanks again to Speed Gaming. Thanks again to Len. I love running races like this in the middle of the day or in the evening for the EU crowd. So those of you all who don't normally get to catch Final Fantasy 1 Randomizer, I hope you got to enjoy it today. It's a great community. Join the Discord. There are a lot of new people, or a lot of people willing to help, a lot of new players that are coming in from the tournament, including Trenton and Dingwu and Brax on the tracking as well. They're both very good they're all 3 very good resources for this game. Entertaining streamers and commentators, and just overall great people. So good community, and I'm very excited to be a part of this tournament. So thanks again.
I will echo all the thank yous. Thank you, Speed Gaming, for how much they partnered with us during this tournament. Thank you, Brax, for being our tracker today. Thanks, Dengwu, for working with me today, and thank you so much.
I mean, what else can I say except for, just to kind of reiterate once again, tonight, Trenton, you yourself have a match at 6:30 on the main Speed Gaming channel, so make sure everybody go and check him out and root him on. He's up against Tyrannex, and then at 10 o'clock we have Wout versus Ali Gerbrap. They're gonna be battling over on Randomania. So if you want some more FFR action, check it out. This is round 5 of the 2019 Spring Tournament. Once again, I'm Dangwoo. Trenton over there that you just heard. Would like to thank you all for hanging out with us and enjoying this great action. I'm just going to say have a great day, and may you light the orbs.